In 3 weeks, the 2026 World Cup begins, and the opening match, the first game of the biggest football tournament on earth, will be played at one specific stadium. A stadium that NASA is currently watching. A stadium where concrete has been falling from the stands. A stadium built on sinking ground that has been slowly dropping for decades. And here's the part nobody is talking about. This isn't the first time something has gone wrong at this stadium. Not even close. The Mexico City, the most famous football stadium in the world. The only stadium on earth where both Pelé and Maradona lifted the World Cup trophy. The only stadium to host 2 World Cup finals. And in 3 weeks, it becomes the only stadium in history to host 3 FIFA World Cups. It has been called a temple, a cathedral, the home of football gods. But underneath all of that, there is a story this stadium has never fully told. And before 80,000 people walk through its gates on June 11th, think you should hear it. Let's start at the very beginning. The Azteca was built on volcanic rock, literally on top of the remains of ancient geological formations beneath Mexico City. The city itself sits on what was once a lake bed, drained by Spanish colonizers centuries ago. And ever since, Mexico City has been sinking. Slowly, unevenly, but constantly. The Azteca has sunk with it. By some estimates, parts of the stadium's foundation have dropped by several meters over the decades. Engineers have monitored it. Repairs have been made, and the official line has always been everything is fine. But here is what happened. Just weeks ago, the stadium reopened after a major renovation on March 28, 2026, a friendly match between Mexico and Portugal. The cameras were rolling. FIFA officials were watching, and during the pre-match ceremony, a spectator fell from a box suite and died. On reopening day. Now, I want to be careful here. That was a tragic accident. There is no confirmed link between that death and the structural concerns surrounding the stadium. But what happened next is harder to explain away. Fans started sharing videos online, not of the football, of the stadium itself. Chunks of concrete visibly breaking away from sections of the stands, unfinished surfaces, exposed materials. A stadium that had just undergone a renovation worth over 110 million euros. Looking, in places, like a construction site. And then NASA got involved. The American Space Agency has been monitoring land subsidence across Mexico City, including the area surrounding the satellite data showing the ground beneath the stadium continuing to shift. And with the World Cup opening match now weeks away, that data has drawn new attention. FIFA has said the tournament will go ahead as planned. But I want to take you back, because the Azteca's history with dark moments didn't start in 2026.1968. The Olympics come to Mexico City. The football tournament is held at the Azteca. 10 days before the opening ceremony, government forces open fire on student protesters in the Tlatelolco massacre. Hundreds died. The exact number has never been confirmed. The Mexican government suppressed the story for decades. The Olympics went ahead. The Azteca hosted its matches, and the world watched, not knowing what had happened just days before. In the same city, 1970, the World Cup, Brazil versus Italy in the final, Pelé lifts the trophy. A moment of pure joy, but that same tournament in the semi-final, Italy played West Germany in what became known as the Game of the Century. A match of extraordinary drama that went to extra time. 4 goals in the final minutes. And at the center of it all, the Azteca, an arena that seemed to demand drama, that seemed incapable of producing ordinary moments. 1986, Diego Maradona. You know the hand of God. You know the goal of the century. But here is what you might not know. Before that quarter-final against England, Argentina's squad were staying in a hotel in Mexico City. Several players fell seriously ill with stomach problems in the days before the match. The team doctor was concerned. Some players could barely train. They played anyway. Maradona scored twice. Argentina won. What caused the illness was never publicly confirmed, and then in the final against West Germany, something else happened that has never been fully explained. West Germany's goalkeeper Harald Schumacher had been one of the most controversial figures in football for years. After a violent foul in the 1982 World Cup that left a French player unconscious and needing surgery, with no punishment from the referee. By 1986, he was still there, still the first choice keeper. Argentina won 3-2. Maradona lifted the trophy, but Schumacher, who had written a book exposing alleged drug use in West German football, faced consequences far beyond the pitch in the years that followed. The Azteca has a way of being at the center of stories that don't end cleanly. And now in 2026, the stadium is at the center of another one. A spectator died on reopening day. Concrete is falling. The ground is sinking. NASA is watching. And in 3 weeks, billions of people will tune in to watch the opening match of the World Cup, played here at the Estadio Azteca. I'm not telling you something terrible is going to happen. What I am telling you is this. This stadium has witnessed more controversy, more darkness, and more unanswered questions than any other venue in football history. And every single time the show went on, every single time the world watched, and every single time the Azteca produced a moment that nobody saw coming. June 11th is 3 weeks away. Whatever happens, it will happen here. This channel exists to tell you the stories that football doesn't put on the poster. If you're new here, subscribe, because the next story makes this one look ordinary.